We have numerous reports from many schools around the country that they're collecting school fees and project fees over and above what the government has promised to give and has approved for us to pay schools.
The free education policy was initiated by the O'Neill government back in 2012. And when the Marape government took over the office, they maintained the fee-free policy. Every year, the government allocates a budget to give to all the schools throughout the country. For this year, a total of 766.4 million kina was allocated to government schools throughout the country. This was announced by the Minister for Education, Jimmy Ugoro, on the floor of Parliament.
Now, money maklong school fee am 632 million. I need long TFF program. Now, project fee am 160 million. That's not all money. Education Department is calculating behind National Education Board school fee limits. Mipla ino kisim arsite. So all schools, you got approved fee limits from elementary all the way to grade 12 and vocational schools. So all this been calculated. Now government is releasing the figure of semi-colon pennies.
Minister Uguro further explained how the government has come up with this much money to support the parents.
So me like talk along all school principals, na board of management. Please, can charge them fee. You report to your education authorities, na Department of Education. Suppose money short, talk too. So you steal too, you must talk too or some you steal. Mipla got control mechanism too. I'm all school inspectors from Mipla. Mipla is a task him all. Lo visit him all schools. Na inspect him all the principals, society charge him all fees. Behind him law. So last 2 years ago, finish, Mipla is charge him some principals. Time report, he come to community. Mipla is charge him all. Na sampla Mipla suspend him all. We will continue to do that this year.
In the past years, the parents were asked to pay a few components of the fees, but this year the government has covered both project fees and the grants for the schools. Minister Uguro announced that half of the fees will be paid to the schools in the first quarter and the other half will be paid in the second quarter. Schools that are part of this policy are from preschool up to secondary level, the School of Excellences, food centers and vocational centers. As the government has promised the parents to pay 100% fees, the Education Department has announced that no extra fees should be charged by any of the schools throughout the country.
Basically, we send a circular to emphasize the government's policy, collection of any extra fees apart from those that have been approved by the National Education Board. We have numerous reports from many schools around the country that they're collecting school fees and project fees over and above what the government has promised to give and has approved for us to pay schools. So given the increasing number of reports that we've received, we have taken another circular to emphasize that this is not allowed. Schools must comply with the formal instructions that were given by the authorities, and no additional fees must be collected over and above the approved fees. The subsidies that we give now, or tuition fees that we pay now, it allows for, it caters for the boarding students and the day students. The day student fees are approximately 990 kina per student, and boarding students are around 1,500, 600 kina. So the boarding component is catered for under the tuition fees that we pay now. So there should be no more money collected for food or whatsoever.
A circular was released from the Education Secretary's office to warn schools after getting numerous reports that schools are charging fees.
Power and your life will be under your care.
Dr. Combra, in a phone interview with EMTV, emphasized that any principal who is found to be breaching this policy will be dealt with accordingly.
We are holding the principals accountable. Any financial collection of monies and reporting of funds is the responsibility of every administrator. That's the principal or head of the school. So we are holding them accountable. If they do defy the instructions, then they will be charged, suspended, and we will also go another step further to suspend them from the payroll. So until their disciplinary case has been dealt with, then the decisions of that disciplinary committee will be implemented.
However, the Catholic Professionals Society President Paul Harignan has called on the Education Secretary to rethink his decision on penalizing the school principals.
Because they want their children to start school, not delaying because there's no funds. So some parents are even going out on their way to contribute and say, okay, if it's project fee, we'll pay project fee, whatever, we'll pay to start. So there are some parents who are serious about their children's school, who are prepared to do what they can. Given the situation, I think that's one way, but government has to allow for that, not just keep promising, and then parents are held back, and the heads of schools are threatened that they cannot collect any money.
He also pointed out some key points that the schools, teachers and students are facing and need consideration by the government.
So they don't really appreciate the real issues we face in Papua New Guinea. Real issues are when there's no money, we run into problem of the teachers not having the equipment, the teachers not having the resources for the school, and there's overcrowding, and I teach a ratio to 50 children in a class or 30 children in a class. You really can't effectively manage and teach a class of that kind of ratio. So these are real issues which will affect the quality of education of children. And we must be serious. It's not just a number thing, you come and then you just accept that the child has attended school. It's really the question of whether the child is learning to full capacity for that level or standard of educating a child.
The academic year has already begun and the first quarter payments are yet to be made to schools.